How are you supposed to make art when you're not doing okay? When it feels like the moment after you come home, drop your keys in the bowl and kick off your shoes, the only thing you want to do is turn your brain off. I spent so many nights binging on social media and television trying to escape my anxieties. When I didn't have the energy to do that, I slept the day away. I wish I could say that the past 6 months have been fruitful for my creative journaling practice, but I was in the throes of some good old-fashioned depression. There have been so many attempts to come back to my creative practice sooner, so many false starts. I'd find myself sitting at my craft desk with every intention to create something, literally anything. But I'd often find myself sitting there, looking at nothing outside of my window. So I go back to my original question. How are you supposed to make art when you're not okay? The answer is, you don't. I'm doing a lot better now. I took the time that I needed to reset. I think this might be the first time where I actually stopped everything to focus on my mental health 110%. And in the 6 months or so that I've been away, I've learned a lot. And I wanted to come back on here and have my first video back to be a tool that can help others who might be in the same creative slump that I was in. Not because you don't have any ideas or the will or skill to make art, but just because life is kicking your ass right now. If you're familiar with this channel, then you know I'm a girly that loves borrowing frameworks from smart people to structure my videos, and this one will be no different. As I was researching for this video, I was trying to find what has already been written about stress and creativity and the relationship between the two. And I came across this article published in the Harvard Business Review, I think it was. Yeah. And they say that in order to regain your creativity, you should reassert control, design a conducive environment, increase connection, and exercise new mental muscles. Now, I think creativity is just a romantic way of saying problem solving. So with that in mind, I don't think creativity is something that you can ever lose. However, I think being able to channel your creativity to create art takes a lot of energy and is another level of consciousness that is really hard to access when you are stressed out and depressed. As I was reflecting on my own journey of overcoming burnout, I really resonated with these 4 recommendations. So I thought it would be cool to unpack what I think each of those recommendations mean and how I've seen it show up in my life, and give you some ideas on how you can use it in your own life and your own creative practice to get you back to creating art.
There's this huge misconception that in order to have a soft life, you have to have this massive amounts of wealth, which couldn't be further from the truth. And I honestly feel like that is just a way for people to gatekeep certain things, because a soft life is a mental and spiritual practice, and you don't necessarily need wealth in order to do that, but you do need to be out of fight or flight.
I came across the term soft life and soft living around the time when I realized I needed to make some serious changes. I was inspired by the intentionality of taking it easy, resting not because I had physically and mentally pushed myself to my limit, but because why not? In an attempt to cultivate a soft life, I began taking more and more things off my plate each week. I reduced my weekly to-do list drastically by focusing on only myself and monitoring how the activities of my day were affecting me. The things that I found stressful but had to do, I did at a pace that felt comfortable to me. And I did it unapologetically. It took me a while to get to the point of not feeling guilty for not spending every waking moment doing something productive. Creative journaling used to be my favorite way to relax and reset. During this difficult time, creative journaling wasn't doing that for me anymore. And I think it's because journaling has kind of become a job for me. I teach others on this channel how to creatively document their lives through this art form. So my relationship with journaling has become something that I don't only do for myself and personal enjoyment. And that is what I think living a soft life is about. It's about eliminating as many things as you can that feel like work so you can feel free to play. For me, living a soft life looked like allowing myself to watch as much TV or social media that I wanted and not beating myself up about it. It looked like trying new recipes, going on long walks, and doing my favorite exercises. It was me calling friends and family to catch up for hours and hosting random dinner parties. Art heals, but it can't heal all. If you're not doing well and you're finding it hard to make art, that's okay. It just means that it's time to stop and turn inward and listen deeply to yourself about what you truly need. If you're struggling with discovering what you need, imagine a perfect day. Not an extraordinary day like the first day of a vacation abroad, but a regular day where you end it feeling content. List every detail, no matter how small or insignificant you think it is. Think about who's there, who's not there. What are you doing or not doing? What are you wearing? Are you cozy or dolled up? The things that you list are the things that energize you. And living a soft life is about intentionally creating as many of those perfect day moments that you can every day. This is how you reassert control.
A present from the boss, to be used twice daily as a memento of how time flies. A funny present? Well, it's all according to what you mean by funny. It's no laughing matter. In fact, it has to do with a very serious problem. The grains of sand in this hourglass have been carefully measured. 10 minutes, the length of a coffee break. The problem? Well, it seems like some people just don't know how to tell time.
Increasing my connection with loved ones was the most unexpected thing to happen during my hiatus. By minimizing my stressors, I had more time and energy to connect with friends and family. Instead of concerning myself with things that stressed me out, I felt myself randomly calling my mom or writing a thank you card or making dinner for a friend. Stillness is the key to gratitude. By lessening my stressors, I was able to pour into the people I care about the most, and they did the same for me. So I encourage you to do this next exercise to increase connection with your tribe. Write down the top 3 people in your life and then 3 acquaintances, like a work friend or a barista you see every day. Think about ways that you can show your gratitude for them and make it happen. There are literal health benefits to being kind. According to mentalhealth.org.uk, doing something kind for others gives you a sense of belonging, and it gives you perspective on your values and what's important. By doing these things, you feel a boost in your self-esteem and get a hit of dopamine. Exercising new mental muscles showed up for me in a lot of different ways. One of the big ways, though, was through cooking. It was productive and creative, but really low stakes. When I conquered that, I decided that I wanted to make a full leather book for the first time. I've never bound a book entirely wrapped in real, genuine leather, This is a very tricky material. I can talk more about it in a different video if you all are interested. But I bound the book doing the long stitch method, which is a binding style that I know how to do, but I hadn't done it in a really long time, which is why I was like super grateful to receive a book that Chanel Lee, you guys might know her from YouTube. She's very popular on YouTube. She came out with a book called Handmade Books at Home, A Beginner's Guide to Binding Journals, Sketchbooks, Photo Albums, and more. The instructions on how to do this binding style was super clear and easy to follow refresher to make sure that I remembered how to do it correctly. There are a bunch of different binding styles on it that are very beginner friendly. I teach bookbinding at a university, and I would totally recommend this book to my students because the binding techniques and the tips are very accessible for beginners. So if you are a new bookbinder or want to, learn some different stitches, I highly recommend adding this book to your library. You won't regret it.
Our story begins. He is headed for the old fishing hole. Uh-oh. Too bad. Freddie had helped his mother make soft soap to sell to their friends and neighbors.
Shucks, if I didn't have to work. Think of all the fun I could be having. Gee.
Freddie tries to figure out an easier and quicker way to make soap. He goes to work to make his dreams of fun come true. After years of working night and day, Freddie's experiments bring success. Soap in cakes.
Designing a conducive environment could mean many things. It could mean rearranging your room. Feng Shui is all about positioning objects in a space to allow good flow and energy. Or it could look like making your mind a conducive environment by going to therapy. Or it could be about eliminating people in your life that are not supporting your peace and growth. Just like in the last exercise where I asked you to list all of the things that could make a perfect day, I want you to list all the things that make a terrible day. Think about places, people, and activities that cause you stress. Then make another list of ways you can change or eliminate those stressors. Is it a task that can be delegated? Is it a relationship that you need to create boundaries around? Are they situations that you have no control over and need to let go? Would a shift in perspective change everything? One of the ways that I was creating an unhealthy environment was the way that I was structuring my days. I would make impossible to-do lists and wouldn't be able to achieve everything, obviously. And then I would beat myself up about it and would feel like a total failure, although I didn't set myself up for success at all. I was creating a hostile environment in my mind and on my body that ultimately was hurting my productivity. So to counteract that, I prioritized time for chilling and only focusing on accomplishing things that absolutely needed to be done. It took many months of practice to get adjusted to this new way of living, and I still struggle with it here and there, but I can create again this way. I encourage you to identify what's stressing you out, think of a solution that could lessen or eliminate that stress, and try your best to follow through. But anyway, those are the 4 things that I think really helped pull me out of my creative rut. It was a very long and slow process. We're halfway through the year and this is the first video that I'm putting out. It's not because I didn't want to, it's just that I needed more time. I needed more time to rest and reflect and, and I think we owe it to ourselves in our creativity to take that time, because rest is part of the creative process. Or at least now I am understanding that rest is a part of the creative process. We're leaving that toxic hustle culture behind and welcoming in the soft play. Now that I've stripped down to the essentials of what makes life enjoyable and have found growth in that, I want my first project of the year to reflect that. So I've created a Commonplace book focused on studying and practicing art and design principles. These principles are the building blocks of art. I believe working with principles isolated of each other seem like a perfect mirroring of the inner work that I've been doing for my mental health. You'll see more of this book in upcoming videos. So if you want to learn how to set one up for yourself and also learn more about art and design, make sure you subscribe. Thank you again, Chanel Lee, for sending me your book. It is absolutely fabulous. I hope you guys check it out. And that's all I have to see until next time. Ta-ta!